Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is part 2 of my discussion on the Koker Trilogy from Abbas Kiarostami. I'm just going to show the front and the back of this box again. This box set is 50% off at Barnes & Noble during the Criterion Collection sale, which lasts until December the 1st. And if you have a Barnes & Noble card, it's even less. So today I'm going to talk about the second film in this trilogy called And Life Goes On. Here's the front of this and then the back. I showed the packaging. There's an earlier video that I did unpackaging everything or unboxing it, but it's really beautiful packaging. I think the Criterion Collection did a great job doing this. And Life Goes On is a story. It's basically a road picture where a father and son go back to the city of Koker, which is a northern Iranian town that was destroyed by an earthquake, or mostly destroyed by an earthquake in 1990. So part of the film is fictional, and then part of it is very real when he goes back to that town. In the first movie, Where is the Friend's House, Koker is used as a setting for that film. And so in the beginning of this film too, as you get involved with the father and son as they're on the road too, they stop at a place that you will probably recognize if you've seen the first film, and it's kind of a forest of bare trees. And so when you see that scene, you're reminded of the first film and you know exactly where they're going. Obviously it says in the description where they're going, but as a viewer you know where you're going basically. One of the things I really like about this film, there's many things I like about this film. First of all, I should say too, I'm not an expert in Abbas Kiarostami or his films, but I'm an appreciator of his films. I love his work, as I mentioned before. And so one of the things I really love about his films is that many of the shots are I consider to be paintings, right? So in that sense, when you're watching the film, it can be very meditative to watch each of his movies. And as much as you see the devastation of the earthquake in 1990, the positive part of it is that the way he shoots it makes it so beautiful. So you kind of have this sense that the good and the bad are happening together, the beauty and the ugliness is happening together, and that he's looking for the good in these things. At least that's what I take away from the film. And the characters are very positive. They've just been through this earthquake. There's only, I think, one scene of a woman who's crying about it. But everyone else is kind of picking up the pieces and doing the best they can, working together, collaborating with each other in the midst of this huge tragedy. So to me, it's a very inspiring film. Some of the landscape shots in the film are just absolutely beautiful. And there's one shot in particular where there's a car on a ridge, and you can see the fissures that have been caused by the earthquake. And it's a long shot, so you can only see just a small view of the car and some people walking on top of this thing. And you know that an earthquake has occurred, and as devastating as that is, the shot itself is a painting, and it's absolutely beautiful. So this is something I think that Kiarostami does in his work. Again, I'm not an expert, but he's mixing truth and fiction. He's mixing dreams and reality, beauty and ugliness, and all of these things combine together to make life what it is. And so that's something I really enjoy about watching his films. So on this disc, there is also a documentary called Abbas Kiarostami, Truths and Dreams, a 1994 documentary, which I highly recommend watching. It's a great documentary. In the documentary, it's mentioned, there's a Rumi quote that's mentioned that says, "The treasure lies in the ruins." And that's really what Kiarostami seems to be looking for. He says in the documentary too, it's mentioned in the documentary, that the role of art is to make people think. And I think as a viewer, that's really what I like about his films and so much of his work, is that it really makes you think. You really feel changed in a way after you've seen his work. So in Truths and Dreams, again, he's mixing fact and fiction. He's visiting some of the folks that he's worked with in the past. He references Persian poets in as an inspiration for a lot of his work. He talks about how friendship and family are so important, which you definitely see in And Life Goes On, as well as this documentary. He says in the documentary that truth and lies lead to a bigger truth. So there's some things he does in the film to get his actors to perform in a certain way, and there's some things that are very real about what's happening in the scene. So combining those two things lead to a bigger truth, I believe, in his work. He talks about the path that you see in Where is the Friend's House. There's a scene in the movie that they refer to a couple different times where the student goes up and down this one particular path as being an open-ended path, and he's looking for these types of things. You can see this in the roads that he films. Kiarostami is well known as the driving director, and so in Life Goes On, many of the shots are in the car as the father and son go towards Koker, the village of Koker, or the city of Koker. And so many times the window in the car serves as kind of the frame for the painting or the frame for the scene. And he's an expert at this. And the way he shoots the car on the road, he puts you in the passenger seat many times. So you're along for the ride. You're seeing what he's seeing. I highly recommend the Koker Trilogy if you haven't seen it already. It's a great time to pick it up. It's a great price at Barnes & Noble this month. I'm going to be doing a part 3 to talk about the Koker Trilogy and the last film, including the supplements in the box set. So leave a comment below if you've seen the Koker Trilogy or if you like a specific part. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about this series of films. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.